Hi flower friends, it's Nicole from Flower Hill Farm. I'm growing cut flowers and vegetables in upstate New York. You see that behind me? That's an 8-foot tall deer fence. I put that in because we have a pretty big deer issue here on the farm. We have 20 acres, it's mostly wooded. The deer love to play here and apparently they like to eat. So I'm pretty selective when it comes to what I grow inside the deer fence. And I've mostly this year been growing vegetables and a couple of my flowers that I know the deer love, including both perennial and annual phlox. But what I didn't think was that they were going to be munching down on some things that are considered deer resistant. Now I'm pretty proactive when it comes to taking care of handling the deer. I mean, you saw the 8-foot tall fence I have around the garden, and then this is a temporary fence structure that's 7 feet tall, and that's made with T-posts and deer netting. That is for my sunflowers. I have weekly successions of sunflowers in there. Some of them are really small, you can't see them. Some of them are rather large, and then my first successions are inside the bigger deer fence because I had that area prepped early enough. So I have my 4-foot tall sunflowers, the ones I'm harvesting off of right now. Those are inside the deer fence. So I am aware of the deer issue. I just didn't have a problem last year. The deer didn't eat any of my flowers down here. However, I did not grow the asters outside of the deer fence last year. I grew them inside the deer fence just because I had that space prepared earlier, so I threw them in the ground. But I gotta say, I'm shocked that they're eating so much. Let's check out the damage, and it's probably worse. So here's a look at a gorgeous aster. I planted, about a 50-foot row of asters. So excited about the varieties this year. Some of you might ask, are you sure it's deer? Yes, I'm very sure that it's a deer. There are dozens of tracks up and down the entire space. They're even punching into, you could see where they step inside of my fabric here, and they're just walking all over. They've eaten it all. It's just bad. It's bad, real bad, like, oh, real bad. So this is not the first time that they have come through. I mean, they're even, like, some of these are like dead because when they bite on them, they pull up the whole plant. But yeah, so the first time they did it, I wasn't that upset because I said, you know what, they've pinched it for me. They came through, they pinched it. This was a couple of weeks ago. I said, you know what, let's see what happens. They'll bounce back. The deer did me a favor. Thank you, deer. What I didn't expect was for them to come back 2 weeks later and chew off the new growth again. So asters are listed as a deer resistant plant, something that deer don't tend to munch on, but I guess when options are limited, they are considering this an aster buffet. But guess what? The deer can kiss my asters. So I mean, there's still, I guess what I'm gonna do, there's still things I can do. Because the plants are not dead, and I can see there are some side shoots growing. So I could spray some deer repellent on this, maybe some garlic repellent, something that I know the deer are not going to be attracted to. There are black flies in my ears. They're everywhere. There's like a cloud of black flies. Anyway, they are loving the asters this year. And they're loving something else that I didn't have one issue with last year. Not one. I cannot believe they're even eating my amaranth. This is my coral fountain amaranth, and they've chewed the top off of all of them. This is another plant that deer are supposedly not interested in, but guess what? Deer will eat everything and anything if they're hungry enough. And as many people have stated, this year we have a really big drought. So not only are the deer hungry, they're also thirsty. So maybe they're getting a little bit of moisture from eating these plants. I know the asters were nice and juicy. But here's the good news. They're not touching my zinnias, my gladiolas, my gomphrena patch, my apricot status, or any of the other statuses so far. My celosia, that's been spared. My ageratum, and literally I have a sea of ageratum. It is so good. My bells of Ireland have been spared. Lots of those too. 95 feet of snapdragons remains untouched, as does about 150 feet of straw flowers. And another thing so far that is spared, the Lysianthus, guys. This is the stuff I started from seed and it's fantastic. So while it's perfectly acceptable to be upset about my loss, and it is a loss, I mean, that's a lot of asters started from seed, and they're not the easiest thing to, to bring from seedling to the ground. So it's a huge loss. I'm just looking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm gonna say like 200 plants have been decimated and decapitated, and we all know the story. But you know what? That's okay, because I have to look at the bright side, and the bright side is the rest of the stuff I have growing down here so far is going to be okay. And there's always going to be loss in farming. You're always at the mercy of the animals, Mother Nature, bugs. You never know what's going to happen. You have to take things in stride and just let it roll off your shoulders, dust them off, and keep farming, because that's the only thing you can do. Anyway, I wanted to bring you guys an update. I have a lot of other things to tell you about. I have been so swamped, guys. It's been crazy, and I'm so upset because I recorded a huge bouquet making video, and the audio is totally messed up. My microphone wasn't plugged all the way into the camera, and it's just a disaster. So I'm gonna refilm another bouquet making video for you guys, and I'll bring that to you guys later this weekend. So anyway, I just wanted to check in and show you how things are going here. It's not all butterflies and beautiful stems. There's definitely some heartbreak and heartache and disaster when it comes to my asters. So anyway, guys, thanks for sticking around. We'll see you soon. Oh, also guys, that tulip sale that I had earlier in the, I think it was late winter when I launched this sale, we're reopening it for just about a week. If you guys missed your opportunity, or if you didn't see your invoice and you didn't get a chance to pay your original order, those sales are opened up again. The link is in the description below. It's with Jake from the wholesale, small scale for the wholesale grower. He's a grower that I've purchased from for several years now, and I trust Jake, and he's got more bulbs. He's secured more bulbs, so he's able to open up the sale. Again, briefly, these will be invoiced within, I would say, a couple of weeks. You'll get the invoice for them, and then the tulip bulbs will ship later in the fall. I have an entire video on the tulip sale. I'll link that above, so you guys, if you want more details on the tulip sale, I put together their 2 exclusive Flower Hill Farm collections. One is called the Bright and Bold collection, and the other is called the, I can't remember, oh, it's the Elegance collection. So we have 2 different assortments, and really reasonable, and the shipping is included in those prices. So if you guys are interested in getting in on that tulip sale, the link is in the description below. Anyway, see you soon. Maybe a little bit higher, maybe a little bit lower. Okay. Fell in the crevice.